Morning, everybody. Michelle is here on this Wednesday, and just wanted to come on through and share a little bit of information. That I'm always contemplating and being reflective, and of course, thinking, meditation. But you have to know when to share information with people, especially in this form or any type of form, actually. Sometimes you have to give bits and pieces, breadcrumbs. You have to give, because of the fact that we're not, we used to, back in the day, we could sit down and listen to somebody talk for hours and hours and hours. And I realized, as I was getting older, that it's not how it works for me. I don't learn that well that way. Because, I told you, I'm a visual, and I have to recreate what people are saying to me and make sure it does make sense. It does, I can produce it. It's producible. Okay. That's how things work for me. So that's why you just have to give. So we've evolved to where we can only handle 7 seconds, I think someone said to me. Wow. Wow. But hey, our attention may be less than that, actually. As much as we swipe. Some people can pick up stuff, swiping. But anyway. We're being reflective. Someone said something a while back, attempting to describe, our current situation, right? And this person said a word that I thought was very, very interesting, and I hadn't looked it up yet, and I'm looking it up now. I probably should have looked it up before I start talking, but that's okay. I'll come back to it. I won't say the word until I look it up. Okay, they said something about inflection, that we're at an inflection, which means the result of curving or bending. And I thought that kind of got my attention quite a bit. Anyway, I'm gonna look into it more, but it just got my attention and got me thinking for a while when I first heard it. And I know it's going to bring me to something, bring me to some type of information, because I put it out there. I put it out like, wow, when because of the state of our planet, how everything's like crashing together, all of us are, we're contradicting each other all over the place. We're not walking the talking, we're just, it's like a constant spin. And I think after a while, the spin has the end. Doesn't the spin end after a while? Or does it continue? I think it can continue for a while, but at some point it does, come to a point of, where, to me, I see everything, well, we do contract at some point. We will contract at some point, but that's, but that's just something I'm thinking about. And so that's how I have to kind of inject certain terminologies and words into how I'm thinking and contemplating, so that I can visually see if I can figure it out. Because it's all abstract, I know, but, it kind of entertains my thoughts to understand what we're going through and what we're doing at this present time in our lives, and how we, the impact we're causing. It's definitely to the planet. And like I said, the planet is going to reverse it. Or not reverse it, the planet is going to correct it. The planet is not going to be reversing, they're going to be correcting. And so that's different, right? Think about it. Okay, so sitting here, as I always do, and like I said, just thinking, being reflective, meditate, I do my meditation and just kind of let things come on through and, do whatever. So And then, you know, on top of that, listening to people on social media platforms. Because it's different when you're engaging with the social media platform versus learning something from your computer that happens to be online. That's different. Let's make that very clear. So if you're working online, if you're an entrepreneur and you need to work and you involve the internet, that's different from hanging out all day long on the social media platform or hanging out all day long on video games, playing video games. But if you're in that technology where you are creating for businesses, for schools, for this and that and the other, and you need to use your computer, you need to use programming, you need to use applications. Okay, that's, you know, I shouldn't have to explain that as detailed as I am, but that's how it, sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to be very detail oriented with people. I'm not detail oriented, but give a lot of details and stack it up so that people can, you know, kind of catch up to, not catch up because I don't want to be belittling people, but so that people can relate and understand, okay, what am I saying here? And so that they can, so if they need clarification, they can have clarification. So they don't be going around assuming and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, so we're at something. We're at some point in our lives where, you know, I physically can tell that there's a difference. And that's not even my strong, that's not how I express myself with my feelings. But I can feel and sense and receive that something's going on, you know. And of course, visually, when I look at the flowers and the trees and the birds and the trees, the flowers and the trees, but whatever, how we used to say that stuff in school. Birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. Oh, yeah, let's get back. Let me say something about love again, since I know what love is, okay? I can say that with confidence, okay? I know what love is, okay? We were created out of love. You know, creational energy is love too. Okay, you know, my parents, that's, you know, in most cases created us out of love, the majority of us. There are other circumstances, nonetheless, when it comes to physical. And that's why you don't want to spend too much time on the physical part of it, per se, you know, because then we love to debate it and argue about it. You know, turn it into a debate and argument and back and forth when we start talking about physical love. But like I said, but that's just talking though. See, and a lot of people just don't realize it's not talking. Love is not talking. Okay, but you know, we do that nonetheless. And some people we do it for a reason that's positive, and sometimes we do it for but most cases it's negative, right? It's just the intention is to create divisiveness with couples, divisiveness with people, divisiveness with cultures, with races, with genders. That's the whole backstory of all of this. Okay, there's an intention to break up everything, to destroy everything. You know, it's called conquering and then destroying. Okay, that's what the first settlers in America, that was their whole intention, was to conquer and destroy. Okay, that's why the American Indians were almost eliminated. You know, yeah, they were almost eliminated completely, the American Indians. But these settlers, the original immigrants to this country, did not, you know, they just didn't understand a whole lot of things about energy, as of course, and how, you know, how the planet knows what a planet is supposed to do, and how the planet has to correct certain things. And a lot of people, like I said, did not understand hereditary properties. And they just did not understand the whole makeup of the planet. They didn't understand that there's a necessary volume that's required for every planet. Meaning every planet has to stay in a certain amount of space. You know, you can't, you know, because, you know, we're a piece of, you know, we're a piece of rock. Let's just, right? Aren't we just, you know, we're like a rock, if you want to say. Whatever, you know, and a lot of people are going to argue about that, about no, we're not a rock. We're not this, we're not, you know, so just to keep their heads buried. You know, nobody wants to take responsibility that we are in a dire situation with our planet. You know, a lot of people don't understand the gravitational pull, obviously. A lot of people don't understand that about the footprints on the planet, about why we're having so much going on with the infrastructure, how lakes and rivers are returning, Mother Nature correcting, and also we all know that, this planet can survive without human beings. We know that. And a lot of people get very uncomfortable hearing that, because then it ought to make everything very clear. If I knew that I'm not indispensable, that I can be replaced. And speaking of being replaced, you got a certain race of people running around, replacing themselves, like I said, because they don't understand hereditary properties. So they're going around replacing themselves. And then, of course, they're blaming that other people are causing that, they won't be replaced, and so now but they want to eliminate, because they stupidly, because it's a stupid concept to believe, because it's also a belief that you are being replaced when you consider we're massively, massively overpopulated. Does that make any sense to you? The planet is being destroyed, okay? And most human beings at some point are going to get wiped out, but yet you are believing you're being replaced. So you have to deal with that type of ignorance on top of everything else. So there's a lot of contradictions, like I said. And then I heard a contradiction the other day. You got these people running around talking all over social media about how they care so much about children. How they care so much about the young people. Let's start with children for a minute. Some people will just go all extreme, because that's the point usually. People go all extreme for babies and children, right? And say how much they love them, and that they do anything for children. They'll do anything for, this and that, for toddlers. People will essentially put their lives on the line for toddlers and babies. But we don't consider that at some point those toddlers are going to be adults. If they are allowed to, even if they make it that far. It's going to come to a point where a lot of these children, a lot of these toddlers or these babies won't make it to adulthood, to become adults. But how much of a contradiction is it, hypocrisy, to say, oh, I love children. I want to do everything in my power to protect children. Well, and as soon as those children become adults, okay, let's eliminate them. We don't need them here on this planet. They don't deserve to be here. This and that. I hear a lot of that too, from people that ought to know better. That's why I say, please, 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 work on your contradictions, and make sure that you are being clear and effective in what you are attempting to relay to people. Okay, if you care about children, that means that these children are the same as these adults. They'll eventually, hopefully, become adults. But like I said, in most cases, because of our extremeness, and I'm going to say this, and with our extremeness and our destruction and our chaos and the might of our thoughts, a lot of babies will just be babies. Okay, and chances are they may not even make it to adults, or they'll just remain a babyish throughout their whole lives, whether they are adults or not, meaning they're going to need some type of care, right? Because most babies cannot take care of themselves, right? So like I said, work on your contradictions, because it's hypocrisy to say that you love babies and love children, but you hate adults. Okay, you have a problem with adults. All right, think about that. Be a visual person for a minute. You see a baby, and you notice how this baby progresses and progresses and progresses, and now that baby is an adult. I love that. Okay, if I love babies, that means I love them here and I love them there. I love them as a baby and I love them as an adult. All right, so we have a lot of self-right. What that is when people are talking like that, it is self-righteousness. Okay, it is self-righteousness. It is, you know, bestowing yourself as, you know, that you are so important that you determine, okay, who to eliminate and who to love and this and that and the other by your talking. Okay, you have no idea what the act of love is. Love is behaviors and actions. Okay, so whoever, you know, and there's people talk, I listen to everybody. I listen to everything. I pick up everything. And I enjoy that because it just feeds my thoughts of something to contemplate and to understand. Because for me, it's about understanding. Okay, and making it, you know, a lot of people say, help it make sense. Yeah, I want it to make sense too. Okay, so that I'll know how I can properly behave and act. And know that I can pick up signals of discrepancy, you know, contradictions, hypocrisy, you know, lying, you know, delusional, talking. So the act of love, you know, like I said, I know what love is. You know, it was modeled for me. So, and I felt it and I sensed it. All my senses were involved with it because I was in the experience of it, in the presence of it. And so now I know what it means. And I know why it's so sought after. You know, it's so, once you know what it is, you understand why it's so sought after. And, you know, and a lot of people say, well, a lot of people have a lot of physical, you know, the physicalness about it. And that's, I mean, look, let's stop being so concerned about all of that. You know, whether, you know, people projecting out how relationships are supposed to go, projecting about, you know, what the perfect relationship is. I mean, unless it was modeled for, my parents did not, that wasn't a perfect, there was nothing perfect about it. It was an experience. Okay, it was an experience, and it had the chaos, the complexities. It had the good, the bad, the ugly. It had the mental illness. It had the addictions. It had the effects of when you have too many people in one space and how that interferes with development, or you know, it either interferes with development or it enhances development. It all depends on the individual, right? Because it helped me to develop. I'm just making that real honest. My environment, the Black culture, okay, helped me develop to who I am right now. And I wouldn't change it for nothing. Okay. So I just want to come up and share that today and let you know that, you know, wow, there's just so much to learn and so much to do and so much to contemplate. At the same time, you know, you have to filter out a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is, you know, blocking my vision, you know, with all these filters, with all these manipulations. Like I told you, with when you go on social media, like when I'm talking on the cell phone right now, I feel fine. I can pay attention to my surroundings and I have no issue. I can, you know, but when I get on that social media platform, it's like I'm being pulled in. I'm like immersed into that environment. And that was the whole idea. You know, so it keeps you on there. Just the same thing with like video games. Keeps you immersed. And before you know it, you know, and a lot of people play those video games and stuff in complete darkness. You know, they dark out their whole house. And they don't really, you know, and they start during the day. Okay, sunny outside. Let me just play 1 hour here, or let me play a few minutes with so-and-so and on a video game, or let me chat a little bit. Some people dark out their rooms, dark out their houses, more so rooms, you know, a particular room, and boom, they don't realize they've been on those video games for almost 8 hours, maybe more. They get up and it's midnight, you know. So a lot to, I'm like I said, I'm thankful for this opportunity, and also, yeah. So let me just get off of that. I'll get on to something else. I'll get on more of that later down the line, face to face, in groups, in their energy, so I can understand people's energy. Blah 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 blah. Outdoors preferred, you know, with the open fire pit. Ooh, visualizing. I woke up this morning hearing this song, "Simply Beautiful." I'm like, wow, because that song is simply beautiful, and we know who it's by. I don't want to throw people's name out because, well, okay, I'll say it because this man is an icon. You know, even though he's had troubles in his life, he's made mistakes, he's gone this and that. Al Green. Al Green is probably, oh my goodness, how Al Green was in our house when I was growing up. I think we played Al Green more than any artist, and my mom loved Al Green. I told you my mom loved those movie stars, you know, and Al Green was one of them. And I mean, the way that you know, like I said, he had some experiences that were not the best experiences. Okay, but you know what came out of his mouth, the sounds. Nobody can ever. And that's why I don't understand why we compare an artist. We need to stop that, because nobody can compare to Al Green. And why would you? Nobody can compare to Donny Hathaway. No one can compare to Curtis Mayfield, you know, Luther Vandross. I mean, come on. Prince, all of these people. Why are we trying to compare them? But see, that's only done in black culture, as if anybody's not paying attention. Everybody wants to compare black cultures. You know, the excellence and brilliancy in black culture. We want to compare that. We keep trying to compare them. Why are we doing that? You know, Michael Jordan versus Magic Johnson. Why are we comparing those two men? Are we comparing Larry Bird? Are we comparing all those other dudes, non-black athletes? And I'm telling you, protect the black female athletes. All you got to do is listen to Mr. Williams, you know, the father of the Williams sisters. Protect the black female athlete from the media. Okay? So, yeah, I woke up hearing Simply Beautiful. And I'm like, wow. Because I remember I heard that song late in the day, because I don't remember growing up hearing it. It probably was playing in the house. But my mom usually liked to play the same old songs of Al Green. I mean, he had so many. But she was, she liked certain ones over and over and over and over and over. You know, because like I said, our house was just full of music growing up. That is what's so beautiful, I think. That's probably why I developed. You know, I feel as though I developed properly. You know, with always room to grow and room in, and that's what it's all about. But our house was full of music. We had one television. If we did have that television, it was in the parents' room, and in most cases, we couldn't go in the parents' room. You know, so music was always playing. You know, black soul music, black gospel music. You know, I remember Reverend Ike. I think it was Reverend Ike. Waking up to him. Ooh. Yeah, I think it was Reverend Ike. And there was a few of them. And this became comical to me. Now, whether there was I don't know if there was some indoctrination there, whether that was good or bad, I don't know. You know, because there's some controversy about all of that. I told you about how they used a lot of, how they infiltrated the black culture. And they usually went for the preacher, the pastor, these so-called leaders, so-called crusaders. You know, they were infiltrated. Okay, they offered those people, or those people that supposedly represented the culture, They had an offer they couldn't refuse, apparently, right? That's why they would be infiltrating. Something to think about, that's all. Something to contemplate. And wondering why in certain cultures things are done seamlessly, but it would not be tolerated anywhere else. Or even considered. Do we think about these kind of things? I doubt it. I mean, because all I'm looking at is results. All right. So anyway, I woke up with Simply Beautiful, and that's what I'm going to end it. You know, I mean, life is simply beautiful. Okay. And if you genuinely love and care about babies, keep in mind those babies become adults, and you ought to show just as much love and care for adults too, and be as protective as well. Okay, so peace and love, everybody, and trust me, I'll be back.